everyone, welcome to Miss Jessie's Online Storytime, brought to you by me, Miss Jessie, the Children's Youth Services Librarian for the Perry County Public Library. How are you today? That's wonderful! Are you ready to hear a story? Because I'm ready to tell a story. Today's story is brought to you by the Perry County Public Library through our Overdrive app in partnership with Kentucky Libraries Unbound, with publishing by Penguin Random House Publishing. And today's story is How to Babysit a Grandpa by Jean Reagan, illustrated by Lee Wildish. How to Babysit a Grandpa. Babysitting a grandpa is fun, if you know how. When your grandpa rings the doorbell, what should you do? Hide. You might want to wiggle, and you might want to giggle. But don't yell, Grandpa! Not yet. Shh. How to stay quiet. Pretend you're a shark waiting for lunch. Act like a pirate spy. Be as still as a lion statue. Purr. As soon as your grandpa says, I give up, pop out and shout, Here I am! When your mom and dad leave, pat your grandpa's hand and say, Don't worry, they always come back. Then right away ask him if he's hungry. Snacks for Grandpa. Ice cream topped with cookies. Olives served on fingertips. Anything dipped in ketchup. Cookies topped with ice cream. After snacks, it's time to take Grandpa for a walk. When it's cold, bundle up. When it's sunny, sunscreen up, especially the top of his head. And remember to grab his hand when you cross the street and remind him to look both ways. What to do on a walk. Step over sidewalk cracks. Look for lizards, cool rocks, and dandelion puffs. If there's a puddle or a sprinkler, show him what to do. And when you're back at home, have him shut his eyes while you get ready. And then how to entertain a grandpa? Somersault across the room. Put on a scary play, woo, or show off your muscles. You may want to have some extra tricks. Grandpa's always clap for more. Pretty soon he'll want to join in the fun, so play with your grandpa too. How to play with Grandpa. March with your drum. Give him a kazoo. Build a pirate cave. Make sure you both can fit. And watch out for sharks in the water. Don't let your feet touch the floor. And when Grandpa says, nap time, it's time for his nap. The best way to put him to sleep is to have him read. A long book. Over and over and over. Even if you're sleepy too, babysitters have to stay awake. And while he naps, draw a picture for his fridge. What to draw for Grandpa? A pirate shark battle. Your favorite dinosaur. You and your grandpa splashing in a puddle. Then wake up your grandpa. You might want to try lifting him with your muscles, ooh, tickling his nose and his toes, and singing on top of Old Smoky, softly, then louder and louder. Now ask, will Mom and Dad be home soon? Your grandpa will look at the clock and say, yikes! Soon, very soon. Good babysitters can't leave messes, so turn on some bouncy music and get to work. And when you hear your mom and dad, grab your grandpa's hand and pull him behind the couch. Show him how to be quiet. Check how to stay quiet. And whisper, see, Grandpa, they always come back. Now comes the hardest part. Goodbye time. How to say goodbye to Grandpa. Surprise him with a picture. Give him a hug and a kiss. And a hug and a kiss. And a hug and a kiss. And ask, when can I babysit you again? And that was how to babysit a grandpa. I thought we could do a really fun craft for our grandpa, or maybe our great uncle, or our, daddy, or our mommies, however we want to do it, or maybe just a friend. We are going to send our very own hug to our favorite person. And I found this craft from Caliph Creations through Pinterest, and it's Mail a Hug Parents, Mothers, and Father's Day, which is super fun. It can be messy, but it doesn't have to be messy. Now we're going to need supplies. We are going to need either glue or tape. We need either paint or just a color cardstock or crayons and markers, scissors, and yarn. And if you have paint, one of these disposable trays are really good. Paintbrush, paint sponge, or if you just want to put the paint on there, that's however you want to do it. Mail a hug to grandparents. Step 1, paint both your right and your left hands. And you can do this with a paintbrush, a sponge, or using a disposable plate, like I said, with a large dollop of paint. Now, if you don't have paint, I have got, this was just the first color I pulled out. It's black, and I have a white crayon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace my hand. We're going to make sure we have enough room on our paper. I'm going to trace my left hand first. And there's my left hand. Now I'm going to trace my right hand and make sure I've got room on my paper. You might have to use 2 pieces. And there we go. Both of our hands. Now, after you have painted your hands, we would press them on our cardstock or our construction paper. We really firmly press it on there. You may say you may need a little bit more paint, but we can always add some on there. If you're using paint, let it dry. And once they're dry, we can cut out our hand shapes. So we ready to cut out our hand shapes? Now remember, when we're using scissors, we want to use scissors with adult supervision because we want to be very careful. We don't want to cut ourselves. So cut that little piece off. So I have one hand cut out. Now we're going to cut out our other hand. And don't worry if you mess up. You can always fix it back. Like Miss Jessie's got some bumps on hers because I have a ring on. So I'm just going to cut around that and not put the lump in there. I'm almost done. Now I have my other hand. I have both of my hands. Let's see what we do next. Now we are going to measure for our hug, and that's our string. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one piece, and I'm going to loosely wrap it around my finger, and I'm going to pull it out. And when it gets thin, I'm going to have a little bit of slack. I'm going to let it curve down. I'm going to wrap it around my other finger, and I've got it stretched big and wide. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors, and safely I'm going to cut my string. So now I've got, oh, that's my big hug string. I used yellow because that's what I have. But you can use any color you want. Or if you have ribbon, you can use ribbon. Next, we are going to glue or tape our yarn on the back of our hands. I have tape, so that's what I'm going to use. But if you've got glue, you go right ahead. So I'm going to take my tape. I'm going to put my string on the back, and then I'm going to tape it across. We're going to tape it down really good. So I'm going to use a couple of pieces of tape. But you can use this with glue. There's that. So this is one hand. Now I've got to do my other hand. Make sure our thumbs are always like this. So I'm going to tape. I've got my piece of tape, which this is a double-sided tape that I'm using. I'm going to use a couple. And oh my goodness, if you want to decorate your hands and put stickers or hearts or stars, whatever you want to do, and now we've got for a big hug to reach around to someone who might not live close to us. And this is how to send a hug to grandma or grandpa or great aunt or uncle or even mommy or daddy or maybe a brother or a sister. And these are big hug hands. Oh. I hope you liked today's craft as much as I liked making it, and I hope you enjoyed today's story on how to babysit a grandpa. Thanks for watching. Bye, everybody.